Congressman Troy Carter praises the decision to declare a federal disaster declaration in response to a devastating year for Louisiana's crawfish industry. Both Carter and Governor Landry requested the declaration following last year's extreme drought and the saltwater intrusion. They say the drought and a subsequent freeze set up a crawfish season filled with economic losses for farmers, processors, and anyone relying on the state's crawfish crop.
What that ultimately means to the people of Louisiana, for those crawfish fishermen, wholesalers, retailers, people who boil or cook seafood, is they will get relief during a time when they desperately need it. This is as much about the economy as it is about the consumer who enjoys crawfish and can't afford to pay $15 a pound.
Carter encouraged affected people to apply for the Small Business Administration loans. He says his team will be holding an event in Marrero Tuesday morning at the community center from 9 to 11. Carter says staff will be on hand to walk people through the application process.